what's similar as well between what's happening now with what happened then, because what happened then when it came to picking the teams, John Cena wasn't in the Raw team because he was facing Kurt Angle at the time. SmackDown had Batista, who was the main guy, who was the champion, but then they also had Bobby Lashley and Randy Orton, who were sort of the young guys in the team who were there to show off their stuff, especially Bobby Lashley because he was still new, but then he had a lot of momentum in his side. JBL and Rey Mysterio were the veterans, so to speak, in that team, you see. So they really put it together so nicely in that manner. It was like a very fair balance when you have the SmackDown team and then you had the Raw team as well, which was also filled with veterans, but then you had Carlito and Chris Masters, who was the master of the Master Lock, if you all remember that. Carlito and Chris Masters were the youngsters inside that team, surrounded by Big Show, Shawn Michaels, and Kane. So it was also an opportunity for them to show off their stuff. And if you look at those teams, they were fairly balanced in terms of veterans and youngsters. So you have a similar, you have a chance when it comes to Monday Night Raw to do something similar with that, with regards to their team. When it comes to SmackDown, their team is already pretty much done and dusted, unless something changes on SmackDown this coming Tuesday. But what's also significant about this, and I think this will be my last point, is the fact that SmackDown and Raw are occurring in Europe. All the WWE superstars are in Europe right now, and Raw and SmackDown will be emanating from Europe. In 2005, this was the same thing. Raw and SmackDown was emanating in Europe, was being broadcast from Europe. And it was such a great, those are like great shows in the sense that, you knew you had that animosity and that rivalry happening between those two sides. And something big was going to happen when you have SmackDown superstars surrounding the ring, waiting to see if Raw is going to show up. You know, it was like something, you could sense that something big was in the air. And I think it's the same here as well when it comes to SmackDown and Raw today in 2017. Even though we don't know the full Raw team, we might get a few surprises. And I think we will get a lot of surprises because of the fact that we are 2 weeks away from Survivor Series. And I predicted that Roman Reigns was going to return sooner or later. And I think he was going to return this week. And I also predicted, well, not really predicted, it was mostly hoping that this happens. But remember, we're in the UK, and Paige has been cleared to return to the ring. Paige might get a spot on the women's team for Monday Night Raw. But now what people are saying now is that Paige is being advertised as a free agent, even though she's on the Raw roster, which I saw last week. So she might also appear on the SmackDown team, which is highly unlikely because the SmackDown team is already filled unless something happens, which we know it can. So it would make sense for me for her to appear on the Raw team. But that's also still to be seen. Monday Night Raw is going to be airing later on here in SA in a few hours' time in the morning. But I can tell you now, we can expect something big to happen with these next couple of shows between SmackDown Live and Monday Night Raw. Judging from what we're about to, witness at Survivor Series, I think we should be getting ready for something very special to happen. So I'm going to be tuning in tomorrow morning to watch Raw. And I'm also going to be tuning in to watch SmackDown as well the very next morning. Because who's to say that Monday Night Raw will not invade SmackDown Live? I mean, SmackDown laid Raw under siege, so Raw has yet to retaliate. So I think now, because the elimination matches are not the only matches that are happening, we also do have all the champions taking each other on. So I think now is the time to pull the trigger on that, because we still have yet to get superstars going at each other on the microphone, especially when it comes to The Miz, especially when it comes to Baron Corbin as well. Barring the fact that we also do have a WWE Championship match between AJ Styles and Jinder Mahal on Tuesday. See, a lot of things are about to happen, and a lot of things are about to, go down this week in WWE when it comes to being on the road to Survivor Series. So I, for one, I'm actually encouraging a lot of people to watch the shows, and so we can watch the shows, especially if you're gonna be thinking of watching live. Watch live. Let's watch live, because I want to see this happen firsthand. I want to see this happen as it happens. I don't want to, be watching it later on at night, like at 7, which is fine, of course. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I want to see it as it happens, because of the fact that I sense that this is going to be something very huge when it comes to Survivor Series. Because of the fact that this Survivor Series that's about to happen now reminds me of the Survivor Series in 2005, of which was really great. So now I think, people, we are literally on the road to one of the best Survivor Series that we're ever going to see. So, all I can say now is that I shall see all of you guys live for Monday Night Raw, or Tuesday Night Raw in this case, tomorrow morning here in South Africa. I'm predicting that we're either going to see Roman Reigns or Paige, or both. It's a prediction for Roman Reigns. It's more for hope for Paige, but we shall see. On that note, I urge you to please do make sure you like the clip. Do make sure you subscribe to the channel over here so that you can get new episodes of the main card as they come. And also, please, I also ask of you, if you have anything that you want to add, if you have anything that you'd like to contribute to the show, of course, whether it be via vocally, like you want to, have your thoughts into a topic that we're talking about, do not forget to either send it to me here on YouTube, or also just check me out on Twitter at Seyda and DM me that voice clip so we can add it to the show. Last week's show had a voice clip contribution, and it was actually quite nice, to have that for the first time ever. So I want to do a lot of first time evers here. So do make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I promise you guys, this is like a very fun thing for me to do, and I'm just going to keep doing it because it's so much fun. Thank you to everyone who's been listening thus far. I really, really appreciate it. I will see all of you guys on Monday Night Raw, Tuesday Morning Raw, whichever you want to call it. And like I said, we are 13 days away from Survivor Series.